So this is the design part, the imagery plus the data, imagery plus data about interiors, furniture, imagery of a housing unit, imagery of the units. And now, by the way, we're tracking lead checklists as we're going through this, making sure we're heading in the right direction, because we need to give the engineers input on what type of systems should be going in. The AI Midjourney engine took and created different versions of it, handed as a package, including the interior views of things. This is what we want it to look like. We actually described, this is kind of interesting aside here, we said we want 12-foot ceilings. We described this room in a narrative rather than in a blueprint or CAD file. And then we asked the engine to render it. And then we adjusted when we said, okay, we want to see a glimpse of the kitchen, for example. There it is, a glimpse of the kitchen, the living room and the view. All of this drives instructions to the architects to fulfill this in BIM. And then we handed this whole package to CDV. And this is what they did. And then they started running it through by importing the model, the requirement model, into their system, and started designing the detailed parts of it, including the systems, the mechanical systems, the plumbing, to fulfill, to support that, the need for that kitchen or that restroom, the mechanical and the ceiling. Okay, here's another unit. The requirement in the model was we need air conditioning in this unit. We want to be LEED Platinum, so we want efficient air conditioning. What systems can support these? These are apartments, so they need to be metered individually or not. Actually, no, apartments would not be. It's the whole building. Here's one floor of the 18, and every single floor is like that. You can slice through the whole building. Now there's equipment and furniture. This is just some of the floors, but then they inserted the floors, and then we gave them the imagery, right? The automatically generated AI imagery. Said we want it to kind of look like this. They made the decision, the glass handrail there on the balcony. So this is the final phase of getting back to the owner. And when you actually get to construction, it changes a different phase, right? You're going to the actual building is in the ground. Now the owner wants to manage their assets and systems in the building, and they want to do it from day one. They don't want to wait for a year to be able to do this. So we have this whole sequence of, okay, now how would somebody be able to quickly get to the information without being a technical expert? You still need some kind of a map. Just like a map of a city, you have a map of a building. You can click on things and find out what's going on with that air handling unit, or why is the air conditioner not working in this particular room, and we know what system's connected to it. So this is all the data that came from the initial requirement model, the BIM that we showed earlier, the mechanical that was put on the roof. We even linked it to a sample sensor. It's a live sensor. Obviously, it's not in this building, but we have a live sensor that's saying what's the temperature or the air intake and outtake of that particular air handling unit. So the technician in the field can manage those assets once the building is in place. And the endpoint here too is all of this data that we've been talking about. It's not in a single application. Even though we've used our application here, the most powerful thing is being able to plug in different applications. So we used a lot of the Google tools. Power BI could also be used here, for example, but we have what's called an API that feeds this data out in real time. As things change, other applications can be built on top of it. And these applications have become much easier to build, especially if the data is machine readable.